There's been a lot.
Okay. I look fucking crazy these days with the goatee, the little ball haircut. These are my DNFs, current reads, and a few of the books that I finished recently. Not too much into that. No one fucking cares. First one, book I finished recently, A Confederacy of Dunces. This was a straight banger. It's a farcical, absurd novel about this basically like incel Redditor mod kid who is forced to get a job after his mother gets in an accident. This is the main character. He genuinely looks like this in the book. I would totally recommend this. It's literally just a group of a bunch of misfits doing crazy shit. It's completely ridiculous. The plot is tight as hell. Like everything just claps back together. I thought this novel was great. It was really funny. I was giggling. Okay, I was giggling consistently. Surprisingly tense by the end. I won the Pulitzer Prize, so I know some people like kind of shit on the Pulitzer Prize, but usually there's some level of quality there. I would definitely recommend this. You know, some people consider it part of the pantheon of like the great American novel. I kind of get it. I really love this one. If you're looking for a fun, entertaining ass book, I mean, come on. Shit's funny. We got All the Light We Cannot See. This is ironic, actually, because this is also a Pulitzer Prize winner. So you can see by that neat little, nifty little thing right there. I actually didn't finish this one. Ooh, Nathan. So I got about 145 pages in. Just wasn't feeling it. I actually was really liking it as I read it. I mean, I thought the prose was great. I don't know, it wasn't clicking with me. This is gonna be a common theme in this video of me getting a nice chunk into a book and being like, fuck you. I actually might go back and finish this one at some point when I'm feeling up to it. But it is a like dual narrative story. Like it switches each chapter generally between this guy and this girl while World War II, like all the tensions leading towards it are building up. And their lives, there's a crystal involved in this. I'm not explaining it very well. If you ever want to try it out, it's probably really good. All right, next up we got The Odyssey by Homer. Another similar instance here. Page 77, I just couldn't do it. Me and my brother were trying to read this book at the same time because, you know, obviously the Christopher Nolan film's coming out soon. I don't know why, just I wasn't feeling it at all. I was actually having a very miserable experience trying to read this. And I figured this is an ancient-ass, well-known novel. Like, I'm sure it's fantastic. I'm just simply not in the headspace to read it currently. Getting into it, and it was just kind of becoming a chore, and I really was not feeling it at all. My brother has been loving it. He kept going with it. He's like, dude, no, you're missing out, man. It's so good. This is gonna go back on the shelf for a little bit. Not feeling it. I'm sure it's great. It's, you know, it's not like it's 3,000 years old and people still talk about it for no reason. So it's a me problem. I recognize that. So we'll come back to this at an unspecified date and time. Next up here we got The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. I heard about this from Ian the Reader. It was like on his like top 10 list, and I was like, ooh, I kind of want to check this bad boy out. It's magical realism. It's about like this kid who finds this special book in this like secret magical library. And there's someone who basically wants to snatch away this book from him with unforeseen consequences. It's pretty fun. I got pretty far into this. I got 160 pages in. Not a bad chunk of the way through. When I started it, I was actually extraordinarily hooked. I could not stop reading it. And then I just pittered out. I don't know. It just didn't. I've heard it's kind of similar to Gabriel Garcia Marquez, but I haven't actually read him before. And that there's a lot of tangents and a lot of subplots, like kind of a maximalist sort of novel. I was feeling it at first, and then I just really got sick of it. I was like, I don't want to read this anymore. I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever go back to this. Again, it's probably actually a great book, but this just wasn't what I needed at the time, and I was getting really frustrated. So I stopped. You know, if I had finished a lot of the books I was talking about, I've barely read any books this year. It's because I keep quitting them. I'm not going to talk too much about this one. Barbara Kingsolver's Demon Copperhead. This is about the same case as The Shadow of the Wind. 150 pages into this one. Honestly, another Pulitzer Prize winner. Whoa, wow, there's a common theme going here. This is when I started to lose hope in Pulitzer Prize winners. This and All the Light We Cannot See kind of made me question them a little bit because, I don't know, this is solid. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I think it's good for what it is. But I've realized that I've started to not like coming of age stories as much. They just don't interest me that much anymore. I just don't find myself extraordinarily stimulated by them. Nothing wrong with them again. I think I'm just was getting sick of this genre. I was really interested in realism in novels, and I realized that I kind of burnt myself out on that. There's a lot of hype for this book, and I sort of see it, but I just didn't find myself attached enough to the main character, Neiman. I might go back to this. I'm really not sure, which is kind of a disappointment because I had been wanting to read this book for like probably over a year, and I was really hyped to get it. My girlfriend got it for me for Christmas, and I was like, dude, I gotta bust this thing out. This is gonna be a great ass read, but it just really didn't hit the spot. Going back on the shelf. Next up, this is actually pretty cool. This is the Best American Short Stories of the Century by John Updike. I have not read enough short stories, and I wanted to read the greats. I wanted to read the good shit. I actually did look up reviews of this thing, and I realized that a lot of the people say that the short stories listed on here are like kind of like great authors, like shit short stories. But I did read some fantastic short stories from here, and they've really made me appreciate the medium. I really am actually fascinated by them. I've been struggling to find a novel that I enjoyed for a while. So short stories have been fantastic in kind of quenching that thirst. I read That Evening Sun Go Down by William Faulkner, and dude, that shit was so good. Oh my god. It got me into William. Now I want to read more William Faulkner because that short story genuinely like shattered me for go read that short story, bro. It's so good. I mean, I read a Flannery O'Connor short story, Ernest Hemingway. I read John Updike's story in here. I've heard there's a lot of wishy-washy about John Updike as a person, which makes me a little hesitant about this particular short story collection because it is more or less some biased picks from what I've heard. The next one, Ancient Ath. Look at this thing, fucking crusty as hell. The Dimensions of a Short Story. Yes, a critical anthology. This is just another short story collection. I think this is like a college textbook. I don't know, I found it for like $1 at a thrift store, and I was like, I like short stories now, let me buy this. It has a lot of great names on here, and I've started reading them, but they're really good. They are just really, really good. I read one by James Joyce, another William Faulkner one, Virginia Woolf. And it's actually a great, I mean, this is pretty obvious, but I just haven't read them enough. There is such a fantastic place to start for finding new authors. A novel is a commitment, you know? A short stories are great taste to see, with very low commitment, what their writing style is like. I don't really want to get too into this because it'll probably be a little boring. Everyone I've read in here has just been like, dang, that was good. It's kind of inspired me to write more. All right, next up we have The Battle Cry of Freedom. This is a chunker, dude. This is a fat-ass history book. I ain't read a history book before this. Actually, I have. I read a book called The Cold War by John Lewis Gaddis. It's actually great. So what's the deal with this shit? Why the fuck am I reading a Civil War 800-page Civil War book? Well, the answer is school. I had a huge exam on these history classes I took, and I was like, I kind of want to actually know what the hell I'm talking about. So I picked this up because I heard it was a great overview of the entire Civil War from beginning to end. The Reconstruction is not part of this book, unfortunately. Dude, history books are goated. Like, I know this is true, but this is a realization I've had with the history class I had in school this year. It got me really into history because, one, my teacher was fantastic. He taught everything very well. But also, I started reading history books to actually do well in the class. And, dude, they're fascinating. They're utterly fascinating. I did annotate the shit out of this thing because I had, you know, an exam I wanted to do good on that could count for college credit. So I did kind of go a little nutty. 270. So I took 270 pages to get to the actual firing of the cannons at Fort Sumter. I want to get back to it because I stopped reading it in like April around when my exam was, and I haven't gotten back to it. But I would like to finish this. I don't know, he just makes the whole narrative of the causes, the developments, combines it into just a narrative piece that is really interesting to read. Oh shit, this is the ultimate pretentious book, Infinite Jest. Ooh wee zooey mama. I got this for my birthday because for some reason I was like, I want to read Infinite Jest. I got to page 65. And if you've read the book, that's around the part where the footnotes turn into this guy's dumb fucking filmography or whatever. Besides that ridiculous, stupid footnote, the 60 pages I read so far, fantastic. Like great stuff. I was not expecting to like Infinite Jest this much. It's actually really good. I kind of stopped reading it, but I would love to go back because, I don't know, man, it was doing it for me. I had a love-hate relationship with it, as in, whenever I would read this book, I would spend 30 minutes reading like 2 pages and be like, this is the dumbest book I've read in my entire life. 10 minutes later, I'd be like, but maybe one more page. From Hell by Alan Moore and Eddie Campbell. This is a graphic novel about Jack the Ripper. I saw Man Carrying Things Book Club was going over this, so I was like, all right, I'll try it. To be honest, I had no interest in graphic novels. I know nothing about Jack the Ripper. 18th century London sounds boring as hell. So I was like, this doesn't really seem interesting to me at all. But I just kind of started reading it just to see what it was there. Damn. It's great. It's great. I'm only like about like chapter 3 right now. My God, I did not expect it to be this good. The pacing is fantastic. There'll be these portions, right, where it's, someone talking, and then the next slide is another person's POV, and then, conversation split cut to another person's POV, and it was just, oh man, extremely satisfying pacing. I don't want to say like cinematography. I don't really know the jargon for graphic novels. Like, I didn't realize they could be that cool. I mean, this is just ignorance on my part, but I was extremely surprised by how great it was. It was just blowing my mind page after page. So I would definitely, I think I'm going to continue reading this thing because the illustrations are a little messy, but I honestly think it fits the vibe very, very well. We by Yevgeny Zamyatin. I think that's how you say it. It's a slim volume, but I have been marking this shit up because this is a straight masterpiece. I finally found that novel I had been talking about. I've been looking forever to find just a good-ass novel that really encaptured me. This is it. I haven't finished it yet. I'm about 160 pages in out of like 220, but I'm finishing it soon. Like, this thing is so damn good. It's a dystopian novel, a very 1984. You'll see that when I talk about this. It's this utopian civilization monitored by one state, which is this like governmental organization, which ensures that everything runs like clockwork. Their entire society is numeric. It's centered around numbers, logic, rationale. They are guided by mechanical, cyclical, repetitive lives. Emotion, nature, spirituality is more or less shunned and is seen as like an ancient, like primal urge. I just can't stop thinking about this book. I would really like to dedicate an entire video to it because it's completely fascinating. It was written about 20 years before 1984, and Orwell was very inspired off this book. It was actually a huge inspiration for 1984, and you can tell. But there's also the portions where it differs greatly from 1984. Significantly less nihilistic version, in my opinion. I cannot get over just how great it is. It's a prose poem. It captures the dynamics of what it means to be human. And I think that is such an insane thing to try to capture in a book. But this does it with perfection. Breathtaking prose. The exploration between the intellectual side, the logical, purely functional side of humanity, and the emotional, the intangible, the subconscious, the what he calls the primate kind of in him, the free-spirited part of our humanity, our souls. I mean, in this book, having a soul is literally a disease. I mean, that's a little on the nose, but the book pulls it off very well in my opinion. It's a masterpiece through and through. His prose is just to be envied. The story is entertaining, thoughtful, entirely encapsulating. This goes really great with Psychology of Carl Jung. I've been listening to Man and His Symbols while I've been reading this, and coincidentally, they work great together. I actually would really like to make a video on the sort of Jungian psychology going on with this book. I can talk about this book forever. Read it. This is probably going to be a top 10, dude. I don't know. It's just been blowing my mind consistently. So, those are all the books I have physically. I did get a few from the library that I've since returned that I'd like to mention very quickly. James Baldwin, it's the GOAT. I love him so much. I read Notes of a Native Son. It's an essay collection. I would strongly recommend reading any of the essays, but specifically the title essay. He is so exact with his words, like a knife dissecting humanity and American society. A lot of his observations about American culture and the way we live stand up beautifully today. Definitely go check out his essays. They are full of humanity, empathy, very astute observations that just make you go like, wow, wow. I guess they're spoken about more these days, but still, sometimes what can feel like intangible aspects of what it feels like I guess, to be an American, just put into words so beautifully. I could not recommend James Baldwin enough. I'm going to check out more of his work. James Baldwin's my goat. I love him. Okay, so that's about it. This is like the big gapathon. I would really like to start making proper video essays on books that I find amazing and really diving deep into what makes them so special. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Have a great life. And sorry I haven't posted on here for like a year. I don't even know if anyone remembers or will come back. We'll see. I got no hair these days. Yeah, let's see what happens. Cool beans. Hooray.